Hey, my good people, this review is on the animated movie Migration. So, the plot of this movie is in this pond in New England, there's a family of ducks called the Mallards, and they all seem to have it great in their little pond. They hang out with their family and they're very safe and sound, and they see a bunch of ducks migrating for the winter, and the mom, played by Elizabeth Banks, wonders, wouldn't it be great if we actually joined them too? But the dad, played by Kumail Nanjiani, doesn't want them to migrate because he feels they're happy where they are and they can be safe and sound. But after a lot of convincing, they they all migrate for the winter, and they end up in the city, particularly in New York. So they go through a whole bunch of shenanigans there when they're trying to migrate to Jamaica, particularly because they want to see how it is, and they think that it'll have all their dreams and everything will be beautiful. But on their journey through New York City, they realize it's a pretty dangerous place to be a duck, and they come across some other birds, particularly what this gray shriveled up scummy bird played by Aquafina, who shows them around the city while they also try to escape this chef who wants to cook them. And they come across a parrot played by Keegan Michael Key, and they all try to band together and migrate for the winter, and hopefully be safe and sound, and hopefully survive nature. I was pretty interested in seeing this movie. I mean, when the first trailer came out, like the teaser, like it didn't show much. I think, oh, this could be interesting. One of those animals in nature type movies, like one of those old school animated films. Like this could be good. But then the other trailers came out, and it was about them going to the city and more populated areas. I'm like, oh, well, it still looks fun, and I thought the movie was really enjoyable. I actually thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't put it on par with a lot of animated movies of last year, because last year was a great year for animated movies, I feel. But while this isn't on the same level as Across the Spider Verse or Mario or Mutant Mayhem or other movies, I still thought it was good. The animation is what you'd expect from an Illumination movie. With the budget it has, it looks really good. Like, maybe not Disney or Pixar quality, but like it looks really good. Like you see like the textures on the feathers and all the ducks. Like they all look really good without looking too uncanny. And just even all the landscapes and stuff, and you see a bunch of forests, and you see even just the cities, like a bunch of building blocks. And there's one scene where you go through a restaurant, and you would think it'd be boring, but all the surroundings and environment make it look really good. Like it's a very visually pleasing looking movie. Like there's a lot of fall colors, of course, because it's about them migrating, and they migrate before the winter. So of course it's going to have a lot of, you know, fall color palettes. Like you see a lot of bright greens and some browns, some orange. Like it's definitely has a distinct look to it. So that really does make it look cool, and it really brings out what the story is trying to tell you. And yeah, they go through like a lot of locations, but like none of them seem like really, interesting. Like they just go to a farm, they go to a restaurant, they go to this office. But like you would think it'd be boring, but remember the ducks are smaller in scale, so everything has to seem huge to them. And the characters are likable. Like, okay, I wouldn't say they're particularly memorable or noteworthy, but I like them. Kamal Nanjiani plays the dad, and like I do think he's good. I think he is a good actor in a lot of comedies, so I do like that he finally got to do an anime, but more. I guess technically he was in the Lego Ninjago movie, so yeah, there's that. And he is pretty much the basic overprotective father character, and his arc is a little predictable. Like you can tell, he's gonna start off as an overprotective father, and then near the end, he's gonna be open to more stuff. And yeah, his character is not really interesting, but you get what they're trying to go with, because he's trying to stand out from everybody else who's excited to migrate. Elizabeth Banks, my girl, she played the mom, and you know what? I actually really liked her character. It was really refreshing to see an animated movie where the parent is actually daring and adventurous. Because haven't you noticed in almost like every animated movie, particularly in a lot of Disney movies, like the main character wants to do something new, but of course both the parents say, no, you can't do that. Things are okay the way things are. I actually like how they portrayed the mother as adventurous. She actually has a character instead of just being, you know, an overprotective guardian. Like she's not just like, oh kids, we gotta shelter you. No, she's adventurous, she's daring, and she really has a very energetic persona to her. And Elizabeth Banks' performance really seals the deal because she has a lot of great comedic timing and she really fits an animated character. So it makes sense she would play such an energetic, optimistic character. So I really like that they had a mom character that's not like other animated mom characters. So I really give the writers props for trying to give her a personality. The kids are the ducklings, like of course they're what you'd expect from most family comedies with kids. You got the adventurous troublemaking son, and you get the cute little girl who, I mean, they do have their moments. Like, okay, the little duckling girl, like, she can be funny. Like, there actually are some moments she actually did get a chuckle out of me. She is kind of a rehash. She kind of does feel like a rehash of the little girl from Despicable Me, just as a duck. But she does have a charm to her that makes her really likable, and you really want her to be in the film because you just can't imagine it without her. Danny DeVito is great as their cranky old uncle. Like, I mean, Danny DeVito is one of those actors that's just great in everything. So I do really like how they brought him as this character because I couldn't imagine anyone better. And it's a fun film. Like, it starts off like kind of the movie you'd think it'd be like, oh, kind of like the trailers where you think, oh, it's just a ducks and nature film, and they go through it. But no, they go to more urban areas and they explore the world. So it definitely makes it interesting for characters like these ducks who only ever got experience in nature to visit more urban areas, and they find out that it's even more, just as much, if not more dangerous than nature. So it was a fun movie. My only real complaint is that the movie has a villain. Not saying I don't want anime movies to have villains, but the villain in this movie just felt shoehorned. Like halfway through the movie, the kind of plot of the movie is that they're trying to avoid this chef because in the city they find this chef at a restaurant who's and they find him cooking duck, and the pigeon played by Aquafina like tells them like what they do with duck, of course. And throughout the movie he does chase the ducks, and of course a lot of slapstick ensues with them beating him up, and like it's amusing, but I feel he just had no purpose. He just felt like he was just there for the movie to have a villain. And I think this movie could have done fine without a villain. Just have the ducks face off all kinds of threats in different kinds of areas. You don't need, a bad guy chasing them every chance he gets. I thought it was just doing fine on its own, but I mean, he didn't hurt the movie. I mean, adding a villain, like, it's fine, I guess. Gee, if that's my biggest problem with the movie, then this movie truly was enjoyable. It's a fun film. Like, it's not great. It's not great. Like, I wouldn't say it's among one of the best animated movies of the decade so far, but I think it's enjoyable and really fun. It's definitely a movie kids would like. Like, kids would think it's really fun seeing, ducks in nature and, like, them going through all these big adventures. Well, that just seemed normal to us, but to them it seems like a huge adventure because the ducks are so small. And it's a fun film. It's got a really talented cast, some really good visuals, and well, as I said, it didn't need a villain, but it still makes for a lot of amusing scenarios that the movie has. So it's a good adventure film. Like, if you like animated adventure movies, this is a really fun one to check out. And I can't remember the last animated movie we had about ducks, so there we go. So Migration's a good movie. I think if you've seen all the animated movies last year and you really want to watch one that came out later, I think this is a good one to watch. I mean, this movie isn't doing incredibly good at the box office so far, but I mean, not that I want this to be a franchise or anything, but I think it's a good movie as it is. So yeah, Migration, if you haven't seen it, I'd say give it a watch. I think it's a lot of fun. It's good for the whole family. So, and the trailers I got the Garfield movie. I'm actually looking forward to this. I mean, I am a Garfield fan, so I mean, who isn't? It's hard not to like Garfield, so I hope this is good. I mean, it does have the same problem that the live action movies and even that one show, the Garfield show, did. Garfield talks, which is weird because in the comic strips, Garfield's thing, or even the show Garfield and Friends, his thing was that he was thinking his stuff. Like you don't see his mouth move, you just see him going around and he's just thinking his stuff. Here they make him talk, just like the live action movies. Like, and it's weird. It's just weird seeing Garfield talk because it makes you think, what can John hear him? Like, shouldn't he be able to, or is he just hearing meowing? Like, it's weird. But I mean, I'm sure. I hope this will be better than the live action movie. But it looks good. As a Garfield fan, I'm willing to check it out. I got If. This is a new movie John Krasinski's directing. But unlike A Quiet Place, this is a kids film. It's a half live action, half animated movie, and it looks interesting. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really curious about this. It's basically like a live action Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You just see a bunch of animated imaginary friend characters, and like lots of them look very unique. They're really designed great, and it does have a pretty good cast, and Ryan Reynolds is always good to see. So I think this could have potential to be good. I mean, John Krasinski is a good director so far from what we've seen from the Quiet Place movie. So I think hopefully he could do something good for kids. So I hope this one is good. I got Inside Out 2. This looks interesting. It didn't show much because it was just a teaser, but I'm hopeful for it. I mean, Inside Out is a movie I thought was just fine on its own. I always thought it was a good movie as it was. It didn't need a sequel, but to be fair, Finding Nemo didn't need a sequel, and Finding Dory was still good. So I'm sure this will be good. If Pixar has taught us anything, is that they know what they're doing when it comes to storytelling. They always have a story to tell, regardless of the quality of the movie. They don't just make sequels just because the first was a hit. Like, they know what they're doing, so I'm hopeful for it. And speaking of animated movie sequels, the last trailer I got was Kung Fu Panda 4. I'm looking forward to this one, of course, because I mean, I love the Kung Fu Panda movies. They're movies that they could have easily been really stupid and really crappy, but they're way better than they had any right to be. They managed to balance out comedy with a lot of serious moments at the same time. So they're really unbelievably good. So I'm pretty interested to see how this is. And Viola Davis is playing the villain, and you can never go wrong with Viola Davis. So there you go. So yeah, Migration. It's a good movie. If you want to see an animated film, like I really think this is a good one to watch. I mean, it's I wouldn't put it on, like I said, I wouldn't put it on par with Across the Spider Verse or Mutant Man or like other stuff, but I think it's a fun movie as it is. And also, it's worth noting there is a short before this movie. Since this is an Illumination movie, there's a Despicable Me short, and it's fun. Like it's nothing too complex given it's a short film, but it's fun, it's entertaining, pretty much what you'd expect from a Despicable Me project. And yeah, Migration, it's a fun movie. Don't it's not something I'd rave about, but it was likable and fun, and that's really all I wanted. I just wanted a likable, fun film, and I definitely got that. So see you later with whatever I I'm reviewing next. Hopefully, I don't know what the first new release this year I'm most interested in seeing, but whatever it is, I guess I'll do it right away whenever I see whatever I'm interested in. So take care.